But this is
And
another topic that I wanted to talk about that was very interesting when I was doing my prep work for this podcast. 2009, you recruited Derek Williams. He was originally planning to go to play for you at USC, but then he ended up switching to Arizona when Sean Miller was hired as a head coach there. I mean, many fans now call him an NBA bust, but at the time, he was like this big time top recruit, became an Arizona Wildcat legend, number two overall pick in the NBA draft, still revered by Arizona's fan base, and remained a consensus choice in their all time starting five. But he was originally going to play for you. Talk about what the process was like losing him as a recruit.
well, we signed Derek. That was his dream to go there. You know, he was a local boy from LA. It was kind of under the radar. Was like an undersized four. Didn't really have perimeter or shooting ability. It's all came later. Had athleticism, but not like how you ended up seeing what he did at Arizona.
Yeah.
But what happened was he signed with us, and then when Coach Floyd was getting ready to resign, there was all this stuff going on. Mike Garrett released him on his own, but just gave him a full blanket release, which if you're gonna release a guy, just say you can go, but don't go to a
The
rival
conference.
league. Why would you do that? So we lost him and Momo Jones, starting point guard, and Solomon Hill. All three of those guys go and start at Arizona and go to the Elite Eight, and they were all coming with us, and that was all because of this, this coaching change, and that was so frustrating. I remember every time we would play them, I would just shake my head because I remember even Derek when he got introduced the first time playing at Galen Center, said he was so nervous because he didn't know how to act because that's where he wanted to play, and then everything had changed. But it worked out for him. He had a great career at college and then got drafted number two, but it just didn't stick. But he's had a good career overseas, from what I understand. Um, but yeah, Derek was a talent, definitely. And it really kind of didn't really become a big time recruit till kind of after he had signed with us. Then he started getting accolades. I mean, he was not really ranked that high, when he was younger. Um, but yeah, no, Derek's a good guy.
Let me speak about just very quickly before Alex goes on. It's funny you just said that. I always tell recruits, getting good offers like getting a credit card. You get one, and then they all come out the woodwork. So you just said, when we offered this guy, he wasn't a big high recruit. As soon as we offered him, everybody offered him.
That's I call
And
those
that's
guys.
why I say that topic. I'm like, once you get that Fresno State offer, here's USC or
Yeah.
Alabama.
Well, it's like everybody doesn't want to be the first. So,
Yes,
you get a lot of bandwagon recruiting. Well, SC offered, so he must be
they
good
have to
enough.
be good.
Yeah, so you get a reputation because you've gotten some guys. So people figure if they're on them and they're young, and I like them, that I'm going to take a chance and recruit them too. And then it's a domino effect. And then what
Mm-hmm.
happens is you end up losing out, and you were the one that put all the time in.
Yep, I
You
tell these
know,
parents that all the time. You're the first credit
that's
card
part of it.
offer.
That's
Here,
part of it. But I tell the parents, it's a two-way street. We're recruiting you, but you're also recruiting us because I don't know what you're going to do until you sign,
yep.
and vice versa. I could change my mind at the last minute, even if you're verbally committed, and take another kid. If
Mm-hmm.
it could be a better situation for us, a better fit. Something happens, I lose a different position. We had Brandon Jennings committed to us,
Yeah.
and Arizona stole him. He was just verbally committed. There's nothing we could do. And he ended up having a brief career, but was super talented. It was ranked like, I don't know, top 3 or 4 in the nation. Lefty. I think he had 50 in a game in an NBA game. We had the guy that I thought was going to be best of all that during that time was a guy named Renardo Sidney. He played at Fairfax High School. He was
Yes.
6'11".
Yes. Yes. He
He
went to
was
Mississippi State, right?
Yeah, he committed to us, and
Okay.
then they wouldn't let us take him because of compliance issues. He goes to Mississippi State, and he just couldn't keep the weight off. He got in a fight. He got kicked off a team. He went to draft, didn't get drafted, and unfortunately, he should have been the $100 million man. This
I
guy was so
remember
talented.
him.
Yeah,
That
when
was
I
big in LA. Renardo Sidney from Fairfax.
oh
Huge.
yeah,
He's the
big,
type I
big,
tell
big.
people you got to stay out the kitchen. There's
Yep.
special people you got to stay. He liked too many
He,
In-N-Out burgers.
Yeah, he really did, and it just really caught up to him. And unfortunately, he couldn't play at the level, when you're carrying that much weight. And it just, as you move up, the talent is just, everybody's good. So you have to really sacrifice different parts of your game, and a lot of it is conditioning and weight loss. So, but yeah, no, we were in on all those guys, and but people always say, oh, you missed, because I get teased a lot about why we didn't take James Harden and why we didn't take Russell Westbrook.
Wow.
And I said, well, they weren't that level then. They weren't.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook, he was just a guy. Like when he went to UCLA, everybody was kind of like, okay. And then he just blew up, and his athleticism was just ridiculous. And he's a different type of player. He still struggles to shoot, but he's such a talent, and we
Now,
didn't
he went to Arizona State, right? And then
Harden went to Arizona.
Harden went to Arizona State, and Westbrook went to UCLA, right?
Yep. And so, and then you had Kevin Love at UCLA, and then we had OJ and Taj. We had Davon Jefferson, who was a talent. So I mean, I say, yeah, well, we struck out on those guys, but we still hit it on a couple other ones that were pretty good. So,